Thought I'd start this week by sharing a couple of absolute gems that I picked up from the local recycling centre. I call it the local tip. I was taking some rubbish down there because I had a bit of a clear out, and I thought I'll have a little look in the shop because they sell a lot of the stuff. So when people drop stuff off, if it's worth keeping, they put it in a little shop on site, and you just have a little look around, and obviously you negotiate prices and stuff like that. Similar vibe to a car boot sale. It's all just laid out and it's just like bric-a-brac and random things people have chucked out. First thing I saw was this. It's a tiny little pond. Now I don't know if I'm going to utilise it as a pond or I'm actually going to fill it with stones and then water, so that it can be a refuge for wildlife. I'm thinking it might encourage and help the frogs and toads. It will give a nice place for the birds to have a drink. Showed Shire. Shire's really excited about this idea because I don't think I've spoken too much about it from the start of taking on this allotment, because there's been so much going on. We've been so busy with the building side of things, getting the shed up together and planning the plot. But we want to make this incredibly wildlife friendly. We want to share the environment with nature, with wildlife, not just come in and take over and push it out. Yes, you're going to get loads of pests, but you also get loads of beneficial insects, bugs, animals. We've already seen so far down on this plot that there's lots of toads hiding underneath some of the dark spaces. I've seen frogs, we've got bumblebees, we've got loads of ladybirds, which will help keep down the aphids. So next spring, I think we're going to build a little wildlife spot. We're going to put in a lot of beneficial plants that will help the species like the bees, the pollinators. We're going to put in stuff to encourage the ladybirds. So we did have loads. I mean, if you've watched from when we took this plot on, there's so many ladybirds down here. So I'm thinking building a ladybird home. I'm thinking of building a solitary bee home. We can work it all out over the spring. And I'm thinking of putting in a little nature reserve section for the wildlife. So that was an absolute bargain. That was £5. All in, this was £15. And the second thing I got is this nice large size composting bin. I want a few of them because what I did on my old plot and what I do at home is I have 3 of these on the go. So every year I fill one of these up, primarily with green waste. It's got the lid and everything with it as well. So it's 330 litre capacity. And then you just stick that in there. It's easier to do when you're not doing it single-handed. So that's, you can access the bottom of it, so when it's all composted down you can use a spade and then take out the stuff which is rotted at the bottom. These are fantastic. They also are a brilliant home for worms and stuff like that. They do attract a lot of wildlife, so I'm considering putting it at the bottom of the plot as opposed to putting it by our shed. But it just gives me an option for composting. I have been undecided whether I'm gonna compost using your standard, so for example, I'll show you, hang on, using your standard pallet system where you just chuck it in. Sometimes you cover it up with a tarp or something and let it rot down like that, or using the black bins. So for 15 quid I've got the little wildlife project to share and do with Shire, and I've got myself a decent composting bin. If I can get 2 more of them by taking trips down to the local tip, 10 at a time, I just think that's going to be the way forward. So I'm really excited to show you guys that. I think these are absolute finds. The car was emptied out anyway because I emptied all the rubbish out down the tip, so I managed to squeeze this in the car along with the pond. But sometimes people overlook second hand. I mean, you don't really want to spend a lot of money when you're taking on an allotment. It is an investment. I've put money into the shed because we bought the paint. Let's have a look how it's dried out. Yeah, so we spent a bit of money getting that lovely bright yellow paint colour. I obviously have painted the outside. That cost money as well. And then I put the new roof on. So I have spent a bit of money, but I'm trying not to spend too much money. It's not really about putting money into it, it's about putting time and effort. And if we've got resources around us like your local tip and you can pick up your composting bins for a fraction of the price of buying them new. I just think that's the way forwards. King Seeds catalogue, which I requested, and to be honest, they sent it out straight away. I used Sutton Seeds for quite some time, obviously go to garden centres, but it is nice to have a catalogue you can breeze through. It's actually full of loads of information as well. Different varieties, you get seed packs. Look at all the different varieties of beans and stuff like that. There's a mushroom, so a lot of people have said, have you tried growing your own mushrooms? They've got mushroom plugs here. I do think I've got a space behind my shed at home, which is really damp, completely sheltered, never gets any sunlight. I've not really had much success growing mushrooms inside. I don't know if I can get the temperature correct with central heating, or I let them get too dry. But we've got natural mushrooms growing behind the shed, so I'm wondering, I'm going to look into it, whether we can start cultivating. If I get some rotten logs and stuff like that, and increase the biodiversity of the section behind the shed, we start cultivating our own mushrooms. We'll see. And if they do work, they will respawn from year in to year out. So I'd like the idea of the oysters, but I'll have to do a little bit of research on there and make sure that that they're going to be happy where I put them. But the main reason why I'm showing you this, because not only does it help you with a guide to different tomatoes and stuff like that, so you can sit down on those rainy winter days when you can't get down the allotment, or you can, you know, with a cup of tea, you can go through and plan things out. And they've got stuff like different kinds of equipment. All that ties in with what I was saying with regards to insect stuff. So there's insect hotels. There's a robin house, which is really cute. I wonder if we can get that on the side of the shed, because there's loads of robins around. Get a bird feeder down here. I can't use bird feeders for my garden at home because of my cats. They're murderers. But there's a bee house, a hedgehog house. There's all sorts. We could probably make our own. When it comes to the hedgehog house, that's £40. I'm sure I've got a little bit of roofing felt and a bit of wood. I could make a really cool hedgehog house, and that would be a fantastic project with Shire to do. But yeah, so the reason why I was looking at this is because on the back, and I'm actually going to cut this out, it's got a harvest and sow chart, a sow and a harvest chart. So it's got a list of different vegetables, when to sow them, when to harvest them. I thought, do you know what, that's going up in the shed. Okay, we got a easy, simple to follow chart with all the different types of veg and vegetables and fruits that we can grow. We can just quick reference when it can be sown and harvest, and King Seeds get a bit of free advertising because they cleverly put their thing at the bottom of it. But yeah, happy with that. That's I've been looking for things to stick up, like charts and stuff like that. Shire's actually got a bug chart somewhere, which I don't know if I brought it down with me, but that's got all the different species of insects, wildlife, native species. I thought that would go quite nicely up there because he's always fascinated looking for bugs. I think I'm going to situate the compost bins, 3 of them at the end of the plot. So I'll just pull that back a little bit. We'll have one there, and when I trim back the apple tree, we'll have one there. So we just have a row of 3 compost bins. I can start by putting a few bits into this one as well. So I can add in the old sunflower bits which we left out for the birds, and as you can see, they've taken all the seeds out of the heads. So that was a good idea, leaving that out once we cut them down, feed the wildlife. I can clear a lot of the old fallers, the ones which are rotten down on top of the plastic matting. They can all go in and start the composting. we try not to put anything too woody in the compost because it takes a lot longer to break down. But these will break down pretty quickly. We'll stick a couple of bricks on the top just to stop it from blowing away. Once it starts to fill up a bit more, it will be a bit more sturdy. But yeah, absolute bargain for £10. I was looking for a composting system and it just basically fell into my lap, so well happy with that. We can put in the grass cutting, trimming waste. We can put in anything that's died off throughout the season. All of our weeding, everything can go in there. Lots of green waste. We'll add in a few extra bits, but I can discuss that more as we start, because you're going to need to mix in stuff as well. So we can put bits of straw, cardboard, lots of stuff, get it generating, composting. I can show you what mine looks like at home at some point. But yeah, happy days. I was just about to leave and I remembered that I wanted to empty out the courgette and the UFO squash plants, which have died off with the lack of sunshine and the colder nights, so we can add them in as well. Not this blue bit of tarp though, because we don't want any plastics in our composting system. And that reminds me that I need to get, I've got a load of cardboard sheets at home, and what I do is when I clear out the raised beds, if I'm not using them, I want to lay cardboard sheet over the top to protect the soil, because it's exposed, there's nothing on top of it, there's no root system, gets washed away. Yeah, just takes a hammering. So it's quite important to cover up your soil. You've seen that with the plastic for the weed. A lot of people cover their soil once they've dug it over in the winter. I might actually kickstart this with some manure, because I've got to order a load of manure for the plot this year, so I could chuck a little bit of that in there later on. But we'll get rid of these. Having composting systems down at the allotment means that you're not forever doing tip runs, bagging stuff up, taking it back with you, and you're gaining compost out of stuff that you've grown. You're saving money basically. But we've got all that in there. We'll leave that in there. Right, for this week's dehydrating, I was undecided what I wanted to try, and then I was going around Asda's and I found a load of reduced raspberries and some reduced strawberries. Now, I normally wouldn't have done that because 9 times out of 10 they're very soft and mushy, but these are super firm. There's actually nothing wrong with these whatsoever. Look, these are actually perfect. Sometimes you get there and you see a mushy one or a mouldy one, but I figured with these being quite firm and there being no issues with these raspberries, let's give it a go, because these would be great additions to go with our dried apple. Now, do I put the raspberries on like that? They're not going to fall through, are they? I'll probably manage 2 trays of raspberries and 2 trays of strawberries. A lot of people in the comment section are saying from last week I could have mushed down that pear and then spread it onto some parchment paper. I think that's the same as baking paper, and made fruit wind-ups. I'm definitely going to have a go at doing some fruit levers. These ones seem a bit small. What I'm going to do is put the bigger ones on this tray. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have a go at that. I've got so many things I want to try in Dehydrator. I'm just going steady and pretty much looking at doing 1 lot per week instead of going all guns blazing. And basically I'm trying to say it's going to be a gradual process as I progress into baking dehydrated things, but I do like the idea of that. Another idea which was brought up, which I'm very much on board with, is dehydrating some dog treats, some cat treats. So I thought we'd have a go first with some chicken bits. If I can get some discounted chicken, I'd quite like the idea of dehydrating that. I'm going to do a bit of research into that, work out how we're going to do it. But lots more ideas. I don't think this is going to run out as a segment for a while. I've got something to show you with the hydroponics. I've got a little bit of an issue which I need to kind of resolve, but we can discuss that once we've got these in. So there's our tray with the smaller segments. Oh, careful with them. And then there's our tray with the full size whole raspberries. We move on to the strawberries. So I'm going to slice the strawberries to put them in. I reckon I'm going to do them that size. Really impressed with how firm these strawberries are. So I'm just going to go ahead, remove the top off and slice them into 3 sections, like so. I make a point of saving all of these trays. I just give them a little rinse out, take them down the allotment, because these are perfect for harvesting, especially things like beans, green beans, berries. So we're going to get 2 shells of strawberries to go with our 2 shells of raspberries, and that will be this week's dehydrating. I'm going to make a real point of looking in the fruit and veg section for discounted fruit, and if it's not looking too ropey, I'm going to try my hand at dehydrating, preserving them. This was an absolute find, and hopefully next year I'll be dehydrating my own strawberries and raspberries. I know we've got a couple of raspberry bushes down at the plot, got a couple I want to move from the garden, so lots of things to play around with. There's the 2 trays of strawberries. Add on top the 2 trays of raspberries. So where these raspberries are quite big, they're actually squidging on the top, and you can change it round so you can actually have your dehydrator higher. Will help the air to circulate instead of having it rammed down, compacted. Right, so looking in the book and looking online, it says roughly between 8 to 10 hours to dehydrate strawberries and raspberries at 57. But this goes down in increments, so I'm going to start on 55, and time wise we start at 10, and obviously we're checking on them. While I'm showing you this, I can get on and show you the issue I'm having with the hydroponics. Now, I say issue, I'm not sure if 100% it is going to be an issue, but you can see the Mizuna's doing really well, but the basil is now shielded from the light. So I'm wondering if that's going to affect the growth of the basil, because it's been outgrown by the rocket, lettuce and Mizuna. And the chard is not done anything really. That one is a dud. So I'm wondering if I switch the basil one at the back. So if we switch them out, next week I'm going to have a look at the filter, see if the filter needs cleaning. You can see inside. Oh no, it's too dark. There's the root system. I don't know if that affects if that's going to, try not to damage it, try not to touch the root itself. But we'll see if that has an effect, and I'll leave that one as a back on the back without, because I think that basil there is getting enough light. That one at the back was shielded, so I'm wondering if that's going to affect its growth. Let me know in the comments if you've got experience. Obviously this is all learning for me. This is 3 weeks in, so just under 3 weeks in. I could probably start harvesting some of that Mizuna soon anyway for salads. It's got a nice pepperiness to it, and probably the rocket at the back. But I'm conscious of the light and how much light each individual plant's getting. So we'll see what happens with that, see if that is an issue, and let me know in the comments your experience if you can. I'm going to check back in with you after 10 hours. We'll check on the strawberries and raspberries. Right, I'm going to turn the washing machine off. Sorry, I'm catching up on some washing. Let's take a look at the strawberries and the raspberries after they've been in for 10 hours. Right, the strawberries are definitely done. I'll probably halve them up, chop them up, make them into smaller strawberry pieces. I did have a peep earlier. I don't think the raspberries are finished because they contain a lot more juice, liquid. Smells lovely, by the way, when these they're dehydrating. So there's our strawberry pieces, completely dehydrated. I need to let them cool down sufficiently before I put them into the jar, because obviously if they're warm they're going to generate moisture. So I'll stick them into a bowl for now. One thing I did do, so just to note, is when I checked on them about 8 hours in, I turned the strawberries over because they were starting to stick to the tray. Loads of lovely strawberries all dried down. A lot smaller in size now that they've dried out. Now the raspberries. Oh no, they are pretty much done. They are done. Wow, I thought they were going to take a lot longer, but they're fully dried out. I'll check some of the bigger ones just to make sure, but like that one there. Actually, yeah, there's still a little bit of softness to them. So maybe put these in for a couple more hours. There's another soft one. Right, they're nearly there. Let's take a look at the bigger size ones. Oh, they're definitely not done. You can tell because they're still very soft, look, and you can see inside. So they're going to need a bit longer. They're drying, they're doing well, but I did think that these berries were going to take a little bit longer. Let's turn them over. Right, the bigger ones definitely need more time. We'll stick them back in, give them another 2-3 hours. In the meantime, I'll show you the tomatoes. So this banana, for some, well, this is done, but to some people that is too far gone. For me, that is perfect banana. Absolutely full of flavour. I'm going to eat that. Let's have a look at the tomatoes. Sat with the banana. A lot of them have ripened up. These ones are on their way to ripening. Let's go take a look at the stuff outside. So it's been a lot colder, and I've actually kept the plastic down. Still a lot of green ones on there. There are a few red ones. Sometimes they get so ripe and you don't catch them in time that they split. You can still eat them like that, but you want to catch them just before they get that ripe. To be honest, it's so cold, I don't think these are going to do much more in here. So I might take these off and stick them in the bowl, see if that has an effect, because this has been like that for about 2 weeks now. There's another one hidden behind the back, but I'm going to grab the rest of these and get them in a bowl and just let them ripen on the side. There we have the ripe tomatoes ready to use, and then we have the green ones off of the remaining tomato plants. I packed down the shelter. I'm going to probably take that up the allotment and use that up there next year, because I've got a lot of projects, like I said previously, to get the garden up to standard for Vicky. But those should ripen over time. We'll keep an eye on them. I'll keep you updated on them. Stick them there. I don't put the tomatoes in the fridge. I think it genuinely ruins the flavour. Before I shut this video down, I'm going to get back to you and show you the raspberries. Right, so an extra 3 hours and the raspberries are fully dried out. Yeah. I've got to leave them to cool down. Shall do you want to try one?
Yeah, extra guinea pig. They look nice.
They're just dehydrated. You got it? You have that bit. See what you think. Nice?
Yeah. They're still very flavourful.
Yeah, aren't they? They taste a bit like sweets.
I got sour.
They're tart. They've got like a tartness to them. Well, you can try them. What we'll do is we'll get some muesli. Do you want to try the strawberry?
Yeah, go on then.
Let's just do Shire taste tests.
Yeah, go on then. There's apple in there too.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Shire's Dehydrated reviews. So the raspberry one was a bit tart. That a good one?
Yeah.
Right, and then the apple.
That'd be nice. No, I like that.
Which is your favourite?
Wait. Apple.
Apple?
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to say strawberry.
Cat on.
Yeah, 2 seconds. I'm going to let these cool down. These are fully dehydrated now. They took a lot longer, but I worked that one out based on the fact that there's a lot of liquid in them. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this week's updates on the dehydrator, the hydroponics, and the bargains we found at the local tip for the allotment. Next week, I've got a full day down the allotments, all going well weather-wise. So hopefully going to get a load done, which I'm excited to share with you guys. And if I get the opportunity, I'll take an MRE down there and have MRE for my lunch. Enough waffling. Hopefully see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Again. What am I? Your cushion. Did you get any closer? You folded your little arms in. You're so cute. You cute boy. Everyone loved you last week, so I'm going to do a little video of you again. Because you're always sat on me. Always sat on me. I know the truth. You're sat on me because you know that when I get up, you can beg for your dinner. Is that true? Yeah. It's what you're really after, isn't it? You don't love me, you love dinner. Little chin. Such a cute little chin.